It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be pod-smacked? Now, here's Rob Carson.
And here's episode number 213 of the Rob Carson Show podcast. Welcome to the show. You guys on iTunes, iHeartRadio, thank you for downloading. We do greatly appreciate it. Also on Audio Boom, SoundCloud, YouTube, and a host of other sources. Just look for the Rob Carson Show. Okay. Also, Liberty One viewers, welcome. Glad to have you here, guys, today as the holidays are approaching, the Christmas holiday. Certainly paramount in my heart. We'll get to some Christmassy stuff a little bit later in the show, including a company that says they'll be able to turn water into wine this Christmas. Seriously. Water into wine. All right? We're going to get to that here in a few. So they said it couldn't be done. They said, and all of the experts, all of the pundits on the left side of the political equation said that we would not see 3% growth during the Trump economy. It was impossible. The stock market would crash. I don't know anything about economics, but I knew if you do a couple of things, cut taxes, cut regulation, make it easier to do business in this country, Reagan-esque policies, it's going to turn around. Well, the third quarter GDP revised to 3.3%. 3.3%. And I said to my buddy Chris Butler, who is a financial analyst and financial planner, I said it's going to be over 4% in the fourth quarter. It will. And even though there were 3 hurricanes that affected the United States mainland and Puerto Rico, 3.3% growth in the third quarter. That's pretty darned big. I got a little montage. I found this the other day. This is Barack Obama talking about Donald Trump refusing to say his name and questioning whether his policies could bring business back to the United States.
When somebody says, like the person you just mentioned, who I'm not going to advertise for, that he's going to bring all these jobs back. Well, how exactly are you going to do that? What are you going to do?
A big win for the Trump administration as one of the world's biggest manufacturers announces plans for a plant in the Badger State.
Some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back.
Taiwan-based Foxconn will build a $10 billion plant, creating LCD panels and 13,000 jobs.
He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that?
More than 1 million jobs since President Trump took office. The U.S. economy has now added just over 1 million jobs under President Trump, and more than 1 million jobs have been added since President Trump took office.
You know, this is Barack Obama spoken like a true academic who doesn't understand economics, doesn't understand what it's like to be a member of the private sector. Never been a member of the private sector. He was a community organizer, an academic. Doesn't understand. So I legitimately think he was flummoxed. How's it possible? Negotiate a better deal? How are you going to do that? Well, you've never had to negotiate a deal because you've always worked for the government. The government can fail. It's no big deal. If the government fails, no big deal. You can get away with anything in the government, and you could fail. You could lose money hand over fist. That's why government programs are awful, all right? Private sector, you can't. You negotiate better deals. Obviously, Mr. Trump is. I'm over 1.5 million jobs now. Unemployment at a 37-year low as far as claims for unemployment. U.S. home price index rose 6.2% in September, I should say. Major gauge of home prices in the U.S. rose 6.2%. It's too bad because we got screwed a couple of years ago on a house in D.C. In a 20-city composite, the index rose 6.2% compared to 5.8% the previous month, okay? Reporting the highest yearly gain, Seattle, almost 13%. Las Vegas, making a comeback, 9%. San Diego, 8.2%. Slowest gains, Washington, D.C., 3.1%, and that's because the houses were way overpriced. I live there. We bought during the bubble, and we got completely screwed. Chicago at 3.9% because nobody wants to live in Chicago. Month over month, Atlanta rose the most, 1.3%, followed by San Francisco, 1.1%, because San Francisco home prices can't go up any further. I mean, it's stupid expensive to live there. New home sales in the U.S. have reached the highest in 10 years, the highest level in 10 years. Sales of new single-family U.S. homes reached their highest level. The Commerce Department released a report Monday stating that home prices rose 6.2%, the highest increase since October 2007, which I believe there was another president, and it wasn't Barack Obama. So Reuters says several economists who originally predicted that new home sales, which comprised 11% of all home sales, would decline by 6% last month. They are eating their words. Average selling point for new homes in October reached a record high, $400,000. What? Really? Which suggests that mostly newly constructed homes are selling for high-end buyers. Yeah, because that's not the national average. That's not the national average. So there you go. Good news, good news. The latest sexual harassment firing. Are you ready? Now, I know you know about Matt Lauer, and I'm going to get into Matt Lauer here in a second here. That sounded really weird. Sounds like Matt Lauer got into a few people. Minnesota Public Radio is terminating its contracts with Garrison Keillor. Prairie Home Companion. Woe-Be-Gone. That's what they said to him. His private media company, after recently learning of allegations of his inappropriate behavior with an individual who worked for him last month, NPR, Minnesota Public Radio, notified of the allegations which relate to Mr. Keillor's conduct while he was responsible for the production of A Prairie Home Companion. In addition, NPR retained an outside law firm to conduct an independent investigation of the allegations. Based on what we currently know, there are no similar allegations involving other staff. NPR will end its business relationships with Mr. Keillor's media companies, effective immediately by terminating the contracts. NPR and American Public Media in distribution and broadcast of the Writer's Almanac and rebroadcast of the Prairie Home Companion, which I've enjoyed for a long time. Changed the name of APM's weekly music and variety program hosted by Chris Thiel. Don't know what that is. Separate from the Pretty Goods online catalog and the prairiehome.org website. But Garrison Keillor. Wow, Garrison Keillor. Ugh. Man, there are some fine-looking men involved in these sexual harassment lawsuits. There's Harvey Weinstein. There's Charlie Rose. There's John Conyers. There's Kevin Spacey. There's, well, I guess Matt Lauer's kind of like the only one who's a halfway decent-looking guy, right? Jeffrey Tambor, you know? Louis C.K. Ugh. NBC fired Matt Lauer today for alleged sexual misconduct. Some reporters saying there is much more to the story, and I'm sure more will come out. But here is the announcement this morning on the Today Show. Here it is.
Just moments ago, NBC News Chief...
This is Savannah Guthrie, by the way, and we'll hear from Hody Copy in a second.
Chairman Andy Lack sent the following note to our organization. Dear colleagues, on Monday night, we received a detailed complaint from a colleague about inappropriate sexual behavior in the workplace by Matt Lauer. It represented, after serious review, a clear violation of our company's standards. As a result, we have decided to terminate his employment. While it is the first complaint about his behavior in the over 20 years he has been at NBC News, we were also presented with reason to believe this may not have been an isolated incident. Our highest priority is to create a workplace environment where everyone feels safe and protected, and to ensure that any actions that run counter to our core values are met with consequences, no matter who the offender. We are deeply saddened by this turn of events, but we will face it together as a news organization and do it in as transparent a manner as we can. That is the statement from our chairman, Andy Lack, and we just learned this moments ago, just this morning. As I'm sure you can imagine, we are devastated, and we are still processing all of this. And I will tell you right now, we do not know more than what I just shared with you, but we will be covering this story as reporters, as journalists. I'm sure we will be learning more details in the hours and days to come, and we promise we will share that with you.
Now, this has got to be very difficult, obviously. I'm a performer, and I've had to do shows when things have happened in the building. I've had to go the next day when a partner in a show was let go, and you can't say anything about it, generally. It's like they never even existed, which is kind of stupid. But anyway, that's how some companies operate. These two women were on TV this morning, and I don't know where the anchor of the show, one of the founding members of the show, has been with the Today Show for 25 years, gone, now go do the show. So I don't envy either one of these two, whether it be Savannah Guthrie or Hody Copy. Here's a little bit more.
I'm heartbroken for Matt. He is my dear, dear friend and my partner, and he is beloved by many, many people here. And I'm heartbroken for the brave colleague who came forward to tell her story and any other women who have their own stories to tell. And we are grappling with a dilemma that so many people have faced these past few weeks. How do you reconcile your love for someone with the revelation that they have behaved badly?
Think about this. I mean, CBS, their morning show with Charlie Rose, gone. Matt Lauer, gone. This is gigantic. This is a massive, massive scandal.
And I don't know the answer to that. But I do know that this reckoning that so many organizations have been going through is important. It's long overdue, and it must result in workplaces where all women, all people feel safe and respected. As painful as it is, this moment in our culture and this change had to happen.
Yeah, it did. This is a very tough morning for both of us. I've known Matt for 15 years, and I've loved him as a friend and as a colleague. And again, just like you were saying, Savannah, it's hard to reconcile what we are hearing with the man who we know, who walks in this building every single day. We were both woken up with the news kind of pre-dawn, and we're trying to process it and trying to make sense of it, and it'll take some time for that.
Yeah, we're processing it with all of you at home. And we promise to be transparent and be straightforward and continue this important conversation.
This whole hashtag Me Too movement, wow. You got to imagine there are so many men in this country in positions of power, fame, and authority quaking in their boots today. And they should be. Because every one of these bastards knew what they were doing. Every one of them knew. They weren't clueless. They didn't realize they didn't not know they crossed a line, Al Franken. He should be gone next. John Conyers flew back to Detroit and coach, I guess, yesterday. Sounds like the message has gotten through. The Congressional Black Caucus says, it's time to step down, old man. CNN's Brian Stelter reported that the New York Times and Variety magazine were investigating Lauer's behavior for weeks, even months before an employee filed a complaint against him. Stelter said that NBC knew about the investigations. Raman Saduda, a writer for Variety, said he knew of multiple victims. Yashir Ali declined to share more details about the allegations, but tweeted on Wednesday that Lauer is one of the worst he has seen. Ali claimed that multiple women have come forward privately about Lauer, but were terrified of doing so publicly because of the power he had in the media. Matt Lauer put the fear of God in these women. He had relationships with reporters outside NBC, and he cultivated just for this purpose. They knew that. Ali further called Lauer's manipulation of women evil, frightening stuff. Unbelievable, right, guys? Unbelievable. That's why they got rid of him so quickly. Chairman Andrew Lack said in a memo that this was the first reported incident he'd faced in more than 2 decades of work. And, of course, we also heard that it was more than one incident is what they're saying. More than one victim will come forward. 2012, he signed a multi-year contract with NBC between $20 and $25 million. Wow. And apparently, a lot of this happened, or at least with one incident happened at the Olympics 3 years ago. So NBC maybe knew about that, unless the woman just came forward. Megyn Kelly worked and knew Matt Lauer very well. She choked back tears this morning on her show. Here's what she had to say about Matt Lauer and sexual harassment in the workplace. That would be the wrong bite. Here it is.
This one does hit close to home. I, too, have known Matt for a long time, and he has been a friend and kind and supportive to me in my transition to NBC News. And I see the anguish on my colleagues' faces. But when this happens, what we don't see is the pain on the faces of those who found the courage to come forward. And it is a terrifying thing to do. We don't see the career opportunities women lose because of sexual harassment. Nope. Or the intense stress it causes a woman dealing with it when she comes to work each day. I am thinking of those women this morning and hoping they are okay. The days to come will not be easy.
Yep. You think about the lives that have been ruined, the baggage that has been taken and carried with women in situations like this for a very long time. Unbelievable. And this is sickening. NBC fired Senior Vice President, Booking, News, and Entertainment, Matt Zimmerman, after he engaged in inappropriate contact with one or more women at the network. This guy is known for being one of today's co-host Matt Lauer's closest associates and confidence at work. He worked for years as Lauer's personal booker, expanded his remit to oversee all of NBC's news guest bookings as Lauer grew with the organization. TV Newser reported a woman nervously came forward with an accusation against Zimmerman. Zimmerman was an NBC lifer, having been with NBC since he graduated 2004 from Wake Forest University. Oh, Katie Couric. Here's Katie Couric in an interview in 2012. She was being interviewed by a guy named Andy Cohen about working with Matt Lauer. Here is the question, and here is her answer.
You co-hosted the Today Show with Matt Lauer for 15 years. What is Matt's most annoying habit?
He pinches me on the ass a lot.
Wow.
He pinches me on the ass a lot. Wow. Okay. That's fairly ominous, wouldn't you say? Oh, jeez. Matt Lauer's been surrounded by allegations and rumors that suggest a fiercely ambitious desire to reach the top and secret womanizing ways. This, according to the UK Daily Mail. Claims he stabbed colleagues on the way in the back on the way up, had affairs with co-stars, and even bombshell divorce papers from his own wife have chipped away at his carefully constructed public persona. Lauer first married TV producer Nancy Alspaugh in 1981, divorced in 1988. When rumors of infidelity plagued Lauer's second marriage a decade later, Alspaugh allegedly told the National Enquirer, "I was not shocked to hear, but it's very sad." 88, Matt Lauer married his second wife, former Dutch model Annette Roque. He was briefly engaged to a television newscaster, Kristen Geswine, but they split in 1996. The pair have 3 children together, and their marriage collapsed in 2006. Bombshell divorce papers by Roque accused Lauer of controlling and cruel behavior and valuing his work over family. Not a big surprise with media types. The papers were obtained by the National Enquirer, who broke the Monica Lewinsky story, by the way. The conduct of Matt so endangers the physical and mental well-being of Annette as to render it unsafe and improper for plaintiff to cohabit with the defendant. The defendant is continually, repeatedly given higher priority to personal interests than to his family obligations to plaintiff, causing plaintiff to feel abandoned, isolated, and alone in raising the party's children. And had also said she endured continual mental abuse from Matt Lauer. Matt filed his own legal action days later, saying any cruel and inhumane treatment he may have exhibited was provoked by his wife. 2016, Lauer was forced to publicly deny having an affair with Natalie Morales on the TV show. Rumors surrounded Morales' decision to leave the morning show for Access Hollywood. He said every aspect of the story is untrue. She said there's absolutely no truth to this. It's an absurd story. It's damaging, hurtful, extremely sexist, whatever. Lauer was citing it as one of the key players in Ann Curry's troubled time and exit from the Today Show. New York Magazine feature claimed Lauer simply did not like her and so made himself awkward to work with on air and when the cameras weren't rolling. Lauer also allegedly blew a gasket over Megyn Kelly's appointment to the network from Fox News. That's not a big surprise. A lot of egos in television. Unbelievable, right? Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. MSNBC has a habit of obfuscating and focusing on Republican sex scandals and not on Democrat sex scandals. They've been avoiding John Conyers, and whenever there's a panel discussion on John Conyers or whenever there's a panel discussion on whatever, it always pivots to the president, to President Trump. Here is a little bit of a segment from MSNBC with their anchor, Stephanie Ruhle, the other day, where she avoided Democrats involved in sex scandals, including the number one story of the day, John Conyers in Congress.
I want to bring my panel back into this conversation. Kate Kelly and Christine Quinn. Isn't this stunning? You know, I read Ana Navarro's tweet a little while ago, going through all of the people in business who have lost their jobs. And here we are with Roy Moore continuing to run for Senate. The president of the United States is backing him, doubting the accusers. And this is the position Lee Corfman is in, defending herself in an op-ed, essentially.
Right. I mean, this is it's just a remarkable moment, as discussed earlier.
Now, the thing with Roy Moore, the difference between Roy Moore and John Conyers is John Conyers paid off someone. Al Franken has admitted to grabbing women's butts during. He did it. He was talking to WCCO in Minneapolis, and he admitted that he probably touched women's behinds during pictures. Okay, there's the picture of him on the airplane with Leanne Tweeden, the now radio personality from Los Angeles. Okay, Roy Moore, there are accusations. And we're going to get to the yearbook that he supposedly signed and how her lawyer, Gloria Allred, is completely filibustering on the question. She's been asked to turn it over, but she's not going to do it. Here is Stephanie Ruhle apologizing for ignoring the big story of the day, which happened to be John Conyers.
Before we go, I want to apologize quickly. Sexual misconduct is not dedicated to one political party, one company, one industry. In the last segment, we were talking about accusations against Roy Moore. Our plan was to then turn and talk about accusations against John Conyers. We were interrupted because of the breaking news about the president's tweet making a statement about our approach and increased sanctions against North Korea. We did not have the opportunity to cover John Conyers, but I will be back at 11 a.m. with my partner, Ali Velshi, and I assure you we're going to cover it then.
Okay, we will see. We will see. But if you ever watch a panel discussion, it always pivots to Donald Trump. Garrison Keillor, Democrat. Matt Lauer, liberal, probably Democrat. I don't know. Whatever. Gloria Allred was speaking to CNN about the yearbook that she possesses that supposedly has Roy Moore's signature in it and a little note to one of his alleged sexual harassment victims. Here she is being asked about it by Allison Camerata.
You just go to a third-party handwriting analyst to solve this?
We could, but the key person is Roy Moore. And let me just say...
So she watches, I mean, an absolute, like a bullet ricocheting, that kind of a turn away from the subject, the question, turning over the yearbook.
One other misleading statement that Roy Moore said, because in a letter to Sean Hannity, he said, well, our client, Beverly Nelson, he said, appeared before me. Before me was the quote in the letter, which I'm sure you
Nothing to do with the yearbook.
During the divorce proceeding. Since he said that, her Alabama divorce attorney from the time has said publicly and to me that she never appeared before Roy Moore.
Okay, that's great.
The case, they reconciled, the parties reconciled.
Without her going before him.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Okay, but what about the yearbook? We want to know about that.
I hear you.
You could call them inconsistencies if you wish to be kind. I'd rather not call them inconsistencies.
But
these
can
were
you put some of this to
statements.
rest by going to a neutral third party and looking at the handwriting in the yearbook? Wouldn't that help?
Well, again, if he's willing to testify under oath, yes. And
sure,
by
but
the way,
without that, in the absence of that, will you turn it over?
When you say in the absence of that, it's not just a footnote.
Wow.
This is extremely important.
Yeah.
And if he is elected, clearly the Senate Select Committee on Ethics will hold a hearing.
Fine, but
at that time there will be testimony, not just by my client, I expect by other
Understood, but this would be good information for voters to have before that.
It
to know if that was an authentic signature in the yearbook.
And
so why not just turn it over to a third
party? Good information for them to have to know whether Roy Moore is willing to raise his hand and testify under oath to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help him God.
Wow. What a ham-handed obfuscation from the original question. But she wasn't done. She ended up completely filibustering the question altogether.
Of one
the election
powerful
is in
man.
2 weeks. So you still have a chance. In these 2 weeks, will you turn it over?
And so does he.
Other than,
sure, he has a chance to take the oath.
Understood. But
well, that's my side. Is I want him to do what my client, Beverly, says that she is willing to do.
Yes.
Testify under oath. We've heard nothing. The silence is deafening as to whether he is willing to take the oath and testify truthfully.
So there you go. You got about 3 minutes of conversation. The question was asked about the yearbook about 6 or 8 times. Never even acknowledged by Gloria all red, which to me says it's fake. It's fake. All right. By the way, one former staffer, Melanie Sloan of John Conyers, said that she went into his office and he was wearing only his underwear. Bob Weiner, who serves as the Conyers communication director from 1994 to 2000, spoke to reporters and photographers assembled outside the congressman's office, disputing Sloan's allegations, saying, quote, "Something else that people need to know, his closet is in his office right here. He changes clothes in his office. Most of us have walked in on him accidentally without knocking and seen him in his underwear. Big deal. That's where his closet is. He changes his clothes there. So to say that somebody came to a meeting and that's how it was, that's an untrue statement. That is the kind of thing that needs to be explored before there's any acceptance to that kind of an allegation," Weiner said. Weiner also defended Conyers' surly moments with staffers, saying it is commonplace among politicians. So politicians are dicks. That's not sexist. That's just being aggressive as the member of the Congress or the cabinet member or the VIP that you are. It has nothing to do with being anti-woman. I got it too. So I guess it's okay to be a complete and utter ass because of your position of power. It's not unique to one sex or the other. Unbelievable. So we had a good deal of conversation yesterday about the Navajo code talkers who appeared in the White House, and Donald Trump saying what he did about Elizabeth Warren. And Elizabeth Warren has claimed over the years that she is a Cherokee Indian. There is absolutely no proof whatsoever that it is in her lineage at all, yet she used it at Harvard, where they described her as a woman of color. She never refuted that. She may have used it to her advantage to get through academia and into a tenured position. And to me, if this were a white guy, conservative, career would have already been over. Already been over. Navajo Nation President Russell Begay, or Begay, on CNN's New Day, said basically that he thought that the comment was kind of out of place, and I said the same thing. I didn't think it was necessary, and he said it wasn't really necessary for him to say it. But he did kind of say something I thought kind of interesting towards the end of the interview, basically saying that we are all essentially tenants of the country that Native Americans actually own. Check it out.
When you're in the midst of great heroes, you need to respect them and leave everything else aside. Good. And just honor them and thank them. And this is that's who we are as Americans. Ours is a Native American country. That's why we will defend it all the way, because we have no other place to go. This America is Indian country. And so every non-Indian out there is a guest of Native Americans in this country, and that's how they should act. And if you're a guest in this nation, that's how you should act, especially if when you're in the midst of these war heroes.
Now, I guess if I'm a guest, shouldn't I get like turn down service, or chocolates on my pillow? I'm just saying, I'm not getting any of that. Trevor Noah, I usually don't like quoting Trevor Noah. And by the way, he says that Donald Trump is a racist, and he says it without really any proof of it. However, he did say that Donald Trump is essentially right about Elizabeth Warren. This is very troubling for those who might consider her to be a presidential candidate in 2020. Here's a little bit from Trevor Noah last night about Elizabeth Warren claiming she's a Cherokee Indian.
Warren came under fire in 2012 for claiming, without any proof, to have Native American heritage.
From 1986 to 1995, she listed herself as a minority in the Association of American Law Schools directory.
In fact, when Warren was a Harvard law professor, the university was criticized for not having enough diversity on the faculty, so the school defended itself by touting Warren's lineage.
Wow. How white is your college that when you get called out for being too white, your response is, "Nuh-uh, we got her."
Nice.
Yo, Elizabeth, come on out here and show these white folks what it is.
Now, the way Warren tells the story is that it's been part of her family law for decades, that they have some Native American ancestry. And while listing it in the law school directory might have hypothetically helped her career, there's no hard evidence that Warren used it to get any jobs. Though it's not like she got no benefits out of it. In 1984, Elizabeth Warren contributed recipes to a Native American cookbook called Pow Wow Chow, claiming she was Cherokee. Wow, okay. If you're contributing recipes to a book called Pow Wow Chow, you better be comfortable in your Native American identity.
Yeah.
The problem is, in 2012, the New England Historical Genealogical Society looked into it, and they found no proof of Warren having Native American lineage, which is problematic. Because she wrote for Pow Wow Chow.
Yes, exactly. Pow Wow Chow is so just unbelievably offensive. Pow Wow Chow. I'll have to look up her. Recipe. Let me see. Hold on. Let me Google it real quick here. I want to see what she put in. Pow Wow Chow. Hold on. Elizabeth Warren. ELIZEAB. Okay. Warren's Pow Wow Chow recipe. Let's see what it is. Okay. See what a recipe for Native American. Elizabeth, okay, it says here, Pow Wow Chow. I don't see it. Hold on, let's look at the Wiki and see what they have to say. Mexican oatmeal soup. That sounds good. Mexican oatmeal soup. Listen to this. Regular oats, butter, an onion, garlic, tomatoes, chicken broth. Ugh. Oriental beef stir fry. Oh, no, that's not her. That's from a guy named Bruce Mann. He's a Cherokee. He put it in Pow Wow Chow. That sounds very Indian. Native American. Yeah, okay. Pow Wow Chow cookbook. Mexican oatmeal soup. Here is where Trevor Noah, even though he still calls Donald Trump a racist, says that Donald Trump, with regard to, and I hate this word, with regard to revelations and to calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas is woke.
And look, I mean, it's not like she's committed a crime, right? I mean, lots of white families from Oklahoma think they have some Native American blood. It's one of those things people both genuinely believe and also don't question enough. Because let's face it, being part Native American is cool, right? It's just part Native American. Like enough that you're interesting at a party, but not so much that they build a pipeline through your house. You know what I mean? Just enough. But still, like Elizabeth Warren did something problematic, right? The kind of thing that we rightfully call each other out for every single day.
Thank you.
So as weird as it is to say, in his own racially offensive way, Donald Trump was being woke. Yeah. And that's unfortunately the truth. The truth isn't always something we want to hear.
Wow. I mean, that's gigantic. That he admitted Donald Trump was woke. And woke is a stupid, word. It's like, what's the other expression that I really hate? Nothing burger. I mean, these words just kind of, grow, and then they become, part of the vernacular. And I'm at the point in my life that I don't need to buy into the popular stuff anymore, Brown University. Brown University is implementing a change to its graduate school application that will allow fellow applicants to self-identify as persons of color. Brown University, you see, it's okay. Policy comes as a result of complaints made by graduate students on the Graduate School Advisory Board that international and Asian students are not treated as members of historically underrepresented groups by the university. This is happening at Yale and Harvard, where Asian students who perform better are held back a lot of the times, whereas people of color, the underrepresented groups, will move forward, even though they don't perform as well academically. One graduate student told the Brown Daily Herald that his decision has led to institutional invisibility for these students. Brown defines historically underrepresented groups as Native American, Alaskan Native, African American, Hispanic, or Latinx, Native Hawaiian, and or Pacific Islander. Schools' diversity initiatives are intended to benefit members of these groups. Brown's criteria for historical underrepresentation called some students to not receive invitations to certain events, such as multicultural student dinner. How allowing applicants to self-identify as persons of color will affect policy relating to the diversity initiatives. And whether university will take any steps to verify applicants' self-identification remains unclear. Apparently, College Fix reached out multiple times to Brown's graduate admissions office to inquire into how Brown would ensure that applicants were telling the truth about their self-identified ethnicity. Listen, if Elizabeth Warren, who is lily white and has no Cherokee blood in her at all, can say she's a Native American, then I can be an Asian guy. I can be a Native American. I might even be able to be an African American, you know? Other universities allow students to identify a certain way in order to qualify for admissions or receive various benefits. University of California, Davis awards financial grants to students who identify as LGBT. By the way, and they won't tell anybody, so, you know, if you're a straight kid, you just go in there and say, yeah, I'm gay. You know, I'm gay. They're not gonna tell anybody about it. They're just gonna say, okay, well, here's your financial award, and there you go. You know, why not? What the hell? Why not use the system? Also, as an illegal immigrant, you can identify as an illegal immigrant. And in recent years, several all-women's colleges have permitted men who identify as women to apply. Some sororities have followed suit. Thank God Ted Bundy wasn't around then. Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention something, and this is exciting for me, and I hope that you will join me in this journey. I'm an adopted person, and I was adopted at birth, and I know nothing about my lineage, know nothing about my birth parents, or my birth parents. I know that my mom was told, my adopted mother, who's my mom, that I'm Irish, English, and German. So, if you look at me, yeah, probably, you know. But I'm getting a DNA test, and we're using Ancestry DNA. This is not a plug for the company, although it kind of is. I'm not getting anything for it, but I'm going to try, and I'm going to find out. And this, to me, is a really big deal because I'm a person that maybe if you know your biological parents and all that, you know where you come from. And it's kind of cool to know, you know. And for me, I've never had that. So... And I would like to find my biological parents, just thank them for having me and thank my mother for not aborting me. If they're still around, they should be in their 70s, their early 70s. But I want to know, you know, where my ancestry is from. I want to see if I'm actually from Ireland, England, and Germany. We'll see. We'll see. Some people say I have a Roman nose. I don't know. I can't wait. I mean, This, to me, is the ultimate Christmas package waiting to be unwrapped, all right? This is something that I've waited my entire life for. And when I get the mail in the envelope that says where I'm from, I'll share it with you first, okay? Pretty excited about it. SodaStream has said it's found a way to make water into wine. This is pretty interesting. They say they can make a bubbly Riesling. They have a concentrated wine, booze, that comes in a bottle that can make 12 glasses that yield 10% alcohol, which is standard. And basically, you just put the SodaStream bottle in there. You drop the stuff in it. Then you get the stat, and you get a glass of bubbly Riesling. I think this is kind of crazy, right? This is pretty crazy. SodaStream claims that an independent taste test of it conducted in Germany last month found 76% of tasters enjoyed sparkling gold, that's what they're calling it, as much or more than fancy French champagne brands, including Moet Chandon, Veuve Clicquot, which can sell for upwards of $50 a bottle. We'll see. I have heard that you can do like Chardonnay. Just put a Chardonnay in the SodaStream. Do that, and you've got a bubbly Chardonnay. Why not? Why not? SodaStream has already done a couple of forays into booze. The company previously made a splash when it introduced its beer bar, which allowed users to make their own light beer at home. The beer capsules were likewise limited to European markets, however. So, yeah, what the hell? Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool. I might have to check that out. Okay. Well, that's going to do it for me, guys. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you get a chance to go to tpublic.com/user/conservatees right there. I've got a bunch of really, really cool politically incorrect designs that you can put on T-shirts, you can put on mugs, you can put on onesies, you can put on tank tops, you can put on hoodies, sweatshirts, all of that stuff, including I Stand for the National Anthem right there. Stand up with regard to the NFL. We got some Christmas designs that say, I say Merry Christmas, get over it. All right. Veganism is an eating disorder. That one's always fun. If you have a vegan coming to Christmas dinner, you might get him a sweatshirt. Be kind of funny. Sometimes war is the answer because, it's always on the Prius is always says, war is not the answer. Well, sometimes it is. Sometimes some people need their asses kicked. Kim Jong-un is one of them. There's the Christmas designs. Happy holidays crossed out. Merry Christmas. I say Merry Christmas. Deal with it. All of those are available. teepublic.com/users/conservatees. Also, Liberty One TV. Will you do me a favor? Join my brothers and sisters in free speech, conservative speech, right here on Liberty One TV. 33 cents a day, okay? $10 a month, $99 a year. Sign up, okay? In the meantime, I want to say God bless you. If you guys are listening to the radio the next couple of weeks, KFYI in Phoenix is where I am doing an evening show from 5 to 8 p.m. every evening. I will be on the following week, not this week, but the first week of December. I will be on, I can't really say it, a very large station in a very large southern market, as well as in Phoenix. Also going to be on in Chicago and in Dallas in the coming weeks. Check out my Facebook page at Facebook at Rob Carson Show, Twitter feed at Rob Carson. In the meantime, God bless. Have a glorious day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram, I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.